Nuclear explosions are caused by weapons such as H-bombs or atom bombs. The heat and blast is so severe that it can kill.
Welcome to the end of the world. This is The Bunker, a new live-action point-and-click video game set inside a nuclear shelter after a devastating atomic attack. The player adopts the role of John, born in the shelter on the day the bombs fell. 30 years later, he's the bunker's only surviving inhabitant.
You can protect yourself and your family. And later on, we will show you what steps to take.
Of course, there's more to it than just eking out an existence in a fallout shelter. That would be a bit boring as a game. This unassuming cottage is actually the entrance to a real British bunker and is the location for the game. What comes first? The story that you wanted to tell, or the game that you wanted to make, the sort of game that you wanted to make?
It really came from a sort of nugget of an idea, which is a character is alone in a very unusual space, and we wanted to create something really original around that.
PBX calling Captain McBride of the USAF.
Facilities like this one, which protect from nuclear attack, are dotted all over the UK. This particular bunker was vacated by the Ministry of Defence in the early 1990s. It's an incredible space to sit in. I mean, it looks like a 1950s or 60s secondary school, but it's a mishmash of different technologies. There's computers from the 80s, there's old phones from the 60s, there's maps from the 1970s in here. When you consider that this was designed to be a shelter from a nuclear war, and that you're trapped in here, eking out an existence, spending the rest of your days living on tinned goods without ever really breathing fresh air ever again. It's pretty scary.
The bunker is its own character. The fact that when we came here and everything was left, it was the government, it was almost as if one day they said, okay, it's probably not going to happen now, so kind of we're just going to go. And leaving all the evidence here and leaving all these computers, all these systems, all this stationery, looked at every single bit and thought, what can we include, what can we use? And we wanted to do right by the bunker. We almost wanted to tell its story.
The game's visuals are filmed live action rather than computer-generated graphics. This means that dozens of different options for how an event can be played have been filmed. Why go live action instead of just having some motion capture or 3D models created?
Honest answer is, I don't know how to do that. I know how to make a film, and I know how to do that. And it all spawned from our first project, which was The Hunting, which was a zombie survival thriller, all shot on an iPhone, running around the woods. And we thought we were onto something.
So in a normal game, the developers would allow the game engine to take care of a lot of the repetitive, tedious bits of the game action, of the things that happen inside the game world. You don't have that luxury with a game like this.
No, exactly, and also because it's obviously live action, you can't physically control the main character with a joystick. You know, it's obviously an actor in a room, but you are telling him where to go. So you have to sort of limit those things. When you're filming a script, obviously, it's all very linear. You just sort of almost start at the beginning and work your way through. And for this one, you're really filming a sort of flow chart. You know, you're filming this very complex tree of events which all link together. It's almost as if the gamer is the editor, if you like. So we're giving them all the elements to play with, but they're deciding how it comes together, and they will experience the story, you know, in their own way.
The game's lead, John, is played by Adam Brown, who appeared in the Hobbit trilogy.
One of the main questions I kept asking Alan, the director, was where are we in the story? But of course the story always changes for the gamer. For example, the gamer could take me on a certain path and another gamer could take me on a different path, and those stories piecing it all together. And sometimes I just went, oh, I'm just going with it. I'll just go with it. I trust the gamer to put me on the right path, yeah.
I storyboarded the whole game. When it's a game like this, you have to make sure the continuity is correct. If the character finds a torch, continuity-wise, you've not filmed the torch scene straight after you've filmed the room with the torch in. You've filmed that probably 2 weeks before, or it's all chopped up and jumbled up. So trying to get your head around the continuity is, yeah, it was a real challenge.
It was a 15-day shoot, not many days off, and the days were incredibly long. So sometimes we were starting at 5 in the morning and finishing at kind of 9 o'clock at night. The bunker is now designed as a tourist attraction, and we would be filming a particularly emotional scene or something, and then you'd just get someone wandering kind of like through the background and kind of car.
Would you say the bunker itself is a character in the game, like the Overlook Hotel was a character in The Shining?
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely John versus the bunker.
I want this door sealed immediately. Doctor, you keep your patients under control. If he'd have got out of that door, we'd all be dead.
While the action in the bunker has all been filmed underground, putting the game together is taking place above ground at this studio in Bridgend in Wales. Creating this game has meant that a whole bunch of different skills have had to be brought together, from the filmmakers who shot in the bunker itself underground to these developers in the studio in Wales who take all of that filmed material and turn it into a video game. The team have tools to bridge the divide between video footage and video game.
So we use a visual scripting tool which allows people like me who don't know how to code able to set up something like this, and then our coders can then manage that on top and make sure that we're staying in their guidelines of making a game. So we start up here in John's room where you were sat at the desk and you had the 3 options of picking up the wooden figure, having a look back at the computer screen, or checking your desk. And then obviously two of those things are simple. You come back then to a looped video, and as you go down then further, as you go down to the desk, it becomes more complicated because you can go back to a previous loop and so forth and so forth.
While the development team are busy finishing the game off, I get a chance to play a very, very early build of it. They've taken some interesting decisions with the storytelling. You're drawn into the world through John's routine. You have to repeat things over and over again, and it helps to create this atmosphere which is very lonely and a little bit oppressive and really quite creepy as well. So the game told me that we were starting with 59 survivors and we're down to 1. So where's everybody else gone? That's creepy. Reading technical manuals to his dead mother. That's really creepy.
What do?
We tell people everything's all right.
It's not all right.
One whiff of this and you'll have your throat slit over the last tin of peaches.
So far, the experience is an intriguing mix of movie and mystery game. We'll find out quite how well these different elements come together when the finished game arrives later this year.